I just wanted to share with you guys. I had something happen recently in my life that changed a little bit of perspective on some of what we do, what I do for a living, that kind of thing. And I thought it made sense to maybe share that with you. If you've been following any of our stuff for a while, you know that we specialize in helping families going through the probate process, dealing with real estate properties involved in that process, inherited homes, repairs. Maybe grandma was a hoarder, that kind of thing. We deal with all that kind of stuff. Um, and it's pretty straightforward, at least from my perspective. And what we dealt with recently is my father passed on Thanksgiving here in 2022, and he lived in Vegas, and he didn't have any sort of preparation for anything. Didn't His end of life plan was kind of non-existent. His finances are a complete mess. And it and just to be completely honest and forthcoming, I mean, he was a pretty bad alcoholic, and so he didn't do a lot of the things that most people do when they're in a good state of mind, for dealing with their properties, with maintenance, with repairs, with paying taxes, paying HOAs, um, any of that kind of stuff. His most important thing was kind of his lifestyle and trying to keep that going. And so what that left us with is me and my two brothers, having to sort of sort through everything, pick up the pieces, and go, and try to clean up the mess he left. Now, um, know it, that I do this for a living. I have been able to, provide some insight and give, my 2 cents on things. I'm not actually the executor of the estate, so I'm not the official decision maker. But um, what what I've also run into with this is, um, not all the siblings, not all the heirs always see things the same way. We don't necessarily look at stuff the same way. We don't have the same ideas for what should happen with the stuff, what should happen with the property, what should happen with everything, the timing of how these things should go. Um, as an example, my father's property, it needs a whole bunch of work. He from just things that he had done. There's water damage all over the place. There's broken counters. There's broken toilets. There's the floors are trash. There's dog smell. Um, it's a flip. It's a condo. It's 2 bed, 2 bath condo, and it is a total flip. So what that means is it's going to take probably $25,000 to $40,000 to get the place retail market ready. And so now, how do we want to deal with that? If we decided to, go and put it on the market, I'll fix that. That was bugging me. If we decided to go put it on the market, and get top dollar for it, I think it's probably worth 200 to $220,000. Um, and it's going to cost us, let's just say $30,000 to $40,000 to deal with it. Now, how do we want to pay for that? So if one of my brothers really wants to try to get it fixed up and wants to go through the process of gutting the property, cleaning it, getting rid of the smell, making sure there's any mold is dealt with, any water damage that's underlying is dealt with, maybe replacing subfloors, um, making sure that the plumbing and electrical hasn't been damaged, then going and managing it when we pick the new flooring, the new cabinets, the new counters, the new fixtures, the new paints, all that kind of stuff. And then who's going to be the contractor down there? Who's going to be managing that contractor? Who is going to be in charge of that stuff? And then what's the timeline? What's our expectation of timeline? And then who's holding the sibling in charge of all that accountable as well to make sure everything's happening? Who's making sure the contractor that we don't know when we're all 1,000+ miles away, we don't know the contractor's doing his job or stealing from us, right? And it just throws a bunch of extra variables in there. Now, what if not all three siblings can or want to pay for their portion of that repair? because the properties haven't been liquidated. There's no money in the estate to pay for the contractor. So now, do you want to try to find a contractor that's willing to get paid at closing or after when the house sells? Um, and then how much more is the contractor going to charge to be waiting to get their money? So, or are they going to rush through the job to try to get it done quicker and not do a good job on the repairs? Right. So there's a whole bunch of stuff that goes into that. And I think what I came to realize when I was going through this is I'm used to being the third party person who's working with the family, helping the family be on the same page, communicate, understand expectations. And I didn't have that guy that or person to help my family with it because when you're siblings, there's a whole different dynamic of the family working together, trying to get everyone doing the same thing. And when you have a third party person that everybody can look towards, it makes it easier for everybody. So that's what I tried to do, and that's what I've been working on with my family, is bringing in that third party person, the person who has experience in the local probate process, estate settling, has the connections for attorneys, title companies, that kind of thing that can help us squeeze everything through. We also have a couple, 3 properties that are in a trust that are not very expensive, but they're also in different states. There's a lot of complicated stuff there, and so I chose to try to bring in somebody who would be able to help us through it, and also get investor offer on the property, so that we could see what we could get out of it, just selling it without doing all the repairs, without doing the clean out, without doing everything, and just moving on with life. And so that's been kind of eye opening for me because it's what I do. But I would still rather sell the property at a discount, knowing we could get more money if we did the work, the repairs, and everything to it. But it just makes more sense to move on and take the emotion out of it, take the stress out of it, and try to get a professional to help us manage the entire family in our process. So that's something I ran into, and I wanted to share that with you because it's I run into it on a day-to-day basis, and that's what I deal with in my area. So definitely, if you're going through something like that, find someone in your area. If you're near me, I'd love to help you. But find someone that can help your family manage the whole process, manage expectations, manage emotions, and try to hopefully not increase the drama and the fractured relationships that maybe you have with some of your heirs and siblings. All right. Have a great day.